Anna Fisher, the writer, director, producer, and many other hats of the very, very intriguing and passionate film Lucky Express. Anna, this is quite a journey. Tell me how you found yourself in the moment to make this film.
Well, I was living in India, and living in India, you take the trains a lot, and this documentary is about kids living on the trains. So I saw all these children while I was traveling on the trains, and I often wondered where they were living, and who were their parents, and why are they alone, and why are they on drugs, and how can I help them?
And what was your answer to how can I help them?
I decided to make this documentary about their lives and to be able to create awareness about their situation.
So I was in the talkback earlier, and Jim Cook was doing the talkback, facilitating, and he asked some interesting questions I thought that brought you to talk about maybe the difficulties of making this film.
Yeah, there was a lot of difficulties making this film. There was a lot of dangers on the platforms. It's dangerous being a woman in India sometimes, in situations where you're in a train station at the very back of the platforms. There's a lot going on with gangs, police, drug dealers, and pimps. But lucky for me, I had Lucky with me. And
Lucky is who?
Lucky is actually the main character in my film, and I followed him through all over India, and I asked him to be the main interviewer for these children that live on the trains because he was one of them.
And where is Lucky now?
Lucky is now in Delhi, and I'm helping him go to film school, and hopefully he'll get me a job one day.
And now you had mentioned some of the danger and difficulty. Can you speak more to that? And then were the police helpful, or?
I don't want to speak too badly about the police in India because they have changed last 10 years, but the children did have a lot of problems with the police in India before that. They often beat them and told them to get out of the train tracks, and so yes, the police have been a big problem, but they are slowly changing.
And what about personal danger for you?
My personal danger, I did have some of my equipment stolen, my microphone was stolen, but that's all part of the game. I realized that going into this documentary that I'm dealing with kids that are pickpockets, and they steal, and I honor them because they are trying to survive, and I understand their situation, so I brought an extra mic with me. Yeah.
Besides cinematographically, some of the long shots that sort of just are so epic and beautiful, and they establish a kind of rhythm of life there for me. I felt in the viewing. I was also really touched by the looks on the children's faces and how they responded to you, and there's a certain kind of a special inner joy there. I just felt very magical. I don't say to compare to Sweden or the United States, but can you talk about the specialness of these kids?
Well, these kids definitely grow up really fast. They need to become adults fast in order to survive. So you can't really compare them to kids that are more fortunate, like the kids that we see today in America or in Europe. They're definitely little businessmen, and they do anything that it takes to survive.
And in terms of the process of making this, you have a very committed partner in Thomas Simon, and you guys have been friends for many years and working on this project. How do you talk about the collaborative process working with another filmmaker and understanding how to utilize each other's strengths?
Well, Thomas Simon has been incredibly supportive, and I mean, this was all self-funded, so he did not really take a large salary for making this film. He believed in the cause, and he believed in creating awareness for these children. So it's all done out of love.
He's quite remarkable. Could you mention some of the credits, hats he wore in this film?
He's done a lot of the sound bites for this film, as well as editing.
So what's next?
What's next? I just continue to hope that people will be aware of what's going on in India, and let's help all the children in the world, because they're the future.
You have another film upcoming that was shot in India?
I have a film that's coming up called Laxmi Burns, and it's about the women who get burned for dowry, for not providing enough dowry upon their marriage.
And when might we expect to see that film?
Probably by 2014, January.
And you have a Kickstarter, you have some fundraising that you're doing now. Can people find you? Where do they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. There's a Lucky Express on Facebook. There's luckyexpress.org a website, and they can find me there, and I'm always available to answer questions.
So nice to have you. And just lastly, you're doing such beautiful work and doing something that is contributing in such a powerful way. Do you have inspiring words that folks might walk away with to find what they can be doing in their lives?
Well, I believe that don't let money stop you. Just do it.
Anna Fisher here at the Long Island International Film Expo 2013.